navigating recession is one of the biggest challenges which business have faced. Whether you see the past, whether you see the current state. The current state of economy is on the rise. So people are skeptical whether recession is there or not, but there are many experts who are predicting that recession is on the horizon. Seeing the geopolitical issues, seeing a lot of things happening around, businesses have started preparing. So there are two angles to it. One is your business perspective. From business perspective, what and how can we prepare? First is related to financial side, where we need to see, can we diversify our revenue streams? Number one. Also, we need to control our cash flow. That's very, very important for us to relook if we are predicting recession at the horizon. Second point is from the structural part, do we have a BCP? And when I talk about BCP, it is not related to only natural disasters. We have seen pandemic era. We are seeing recession for so long. So BCP here, I mean, what is the breaking point of our current business? How much reputational risk can we stand? Are our leaders prepared for it? So we need to channelize and strategize it accordingly. And the third point is from the process side of it. Is our process scalable? Do we have gaps which can be mended before recession comes into effect? How can we convert these gaps into efficiency gains? And this is something from our standpoint in our organization. We help and we have helped in the past a lot of client organizations through our process audits to identify how process gaps can solve many problems which will also help them to navigate during the recession period. So that's very, very important 3 point of preparations from the business side of it. Coming from the HR angle, it's very important for us not only to understand payroll spending, but also the non-payroll spending. Along with that, managers and leaders have a tendency on budget flushing. So they will immediately close, whatever budget has been given for this year so that you get extra budget for the next year. So that establishing and enforcing the right amount of budget allocations is very, very important from HR standpoint. Third, how are we playing around with the mindset and change management interventions of people around? Because there is a fear looming. If we are not able to understand what is going inside the psyche of our employees, our leaders, our managers, it's very tough for us to navigate this recession. So these are three very basic important pointers from the business angle as well as from the people and HR. The fear of recession, the fear of the unknown is always there amongst our employees. And why employee? As a human, we have a tendency to fear most of the time because it's a very interesting numbers. Let me share with you. Daily, there is average of 12,000 to 60,000 of thoughts which comes in human mind. And most of the thoughts are basically negative. So 85% of the thoughts are negative and around 90% of the thoughts are repetitive. So in whole, we are a complex, creature created by the superpower. And currently, if you see the kind of world we live in, there are so many things happening around us. Plus recession, other challenges of workplace. So what happens that we will always go back to that repetitive pattern of thoughts. So one very important thing from the standpoint of people is where we speak to our employees, we speak to different level of managers, leaders on what is going on in their mind. So they need to think that they're being heard. Number one. Number two, there has to be a constant touch point between the leaders of the organization and the employees in terms of upskilling, in terms of relearning, unlearning, wellness initiatives. So it's a holistic approach which we need to adapt if we have to sail through these kind of issues and challenges which we can foresee as a result of recession. So there are many interventions we keep planning. There was a very interesting intervention which I have planned before, and I named it HEAL, HEAL. So this was a complete package where we used to conduct surveys of how employees feel. It stands for their health and wellness related issues, which we run campaign. We brought a lot of people from different world of medical fraternity, help them to navigate their mental, emotional, spiritual, physical wellness related thing. We had E for education and upskilling L&D program, the heal part HE. A was to assist them for any kind of issues they are facing in the organization, and L was specific events for leisure where we used to take them for off-site team building exercises. So it has to be a very holistic approach when we have to manage the psychological aspect of being happy, being engaged, being motivated where you were. Okay, so skill gap is not only a company specific issue, it has become a country specific issue. So if India is planning to become 5 trillion US dollar economy by 2025, it needs to strategically invest on a lot of stuff. And there are certain numbers I have brought to the table. So one number, there was a study in 2023 which states about that 95 crore Indians, roughly two-thirds of Indians, in the population of working age, which is 15 years to 64 years of age, half of them are employable because of skill. Imagine the numbers. NASSCOM states that the skill gap will increase 3.5 times by 2026. The National Employability Report for Engineering states that 80% of the engineers do not possess the future ready required skill. So it's not business issue, it is a national issue right now. Not only this, if you go towards global comparison index of different countries, Japanese companies have reported the highest skill gap, followed by Germany and then India. So can you see it's not Indian perspective or only it is global perspective? Businesses are taking care of L&D space like anything because they can see there is a huge problem which will come up in the coming years for skill gap. 2 million jobs in AI, blockchain remains vacant in 2023 because of this issue. So what do we do? There are a lot of organizations taking a lot of actions, which is very, very correct. HUL, for example, if you see HUL, they are upskilling approximately around 3,000 strong frontline sales workforce. If you see TCS, constantly they are in touch with academias. They are signing up with different kind of MOUs with universities for upskilling. Tata Group is also doing a very similar kind of a thing. And Axis Bank has partnered with Manipal University and NIIT to launch schools for fintech, Java and data analytics. RIL has signed up with Coursera. They are creating gigafactories for photovoltaic cells. In Jamnagar, a lot of things are happening. But one alarming thing is when we see the numbers. Half of our Indians of the working population, if you see, needs to be trained. So that's one of the reason why we keep telling that L&D has to be a focus of every organization. You need to think differently of how you can solve this problem in the, not only forget about the recession part right now, in the future. So yes, very, very good and important question which you has been asked right now. I hope that all the companies are taking a lot of efforts to plan out strategically and operationally both. And it is something very, very important and a priority need to be discussed in the boardrooms also. The artificial industry has for sure changed a lot of the dynamics of the corporate world. Not only corporate world, you see how institutions are operating right now. It's very difficult for the professors in B school to give them something on writing articles or finding out because everything has come out through Gen AI and they get an answer instantaneously without applying their mind. So as an industry perspective, if we see AI industry is valued to be projected to increase by 13x over the next 7 years. 48% of businesses use some form of artificial intelligence to utilize their data effectively. And in India, AI has the potential to add close to $500 billion to the country's GDP by 2023. This is the power of artificial intelligence. 6 of 10 current occupations have more than 30% of activities which are technically automable and do not require human interventions. I think I've given the answers with the help of these data, which is proven again and again by surveys, by researchers, etc. So it's time for us to understand the entire framework of education system, starting from school level to college level, and then the way we are creating our L&D interventions at business level. Artificial intelligence is here to stay, and I think one of the recent sessions I have spoken a lot about how new kind of roles and skills have come up, which is actually going to eradicate a lot of human interference in the organizational context, whether it is pricing analyst or whether it is prompt engineers, AI researchers. There are so many new kind of stuff which has come up and also eliminated the existing traditional roles. So yes, you are correct that we need to take care of our upskilling because AI is already existent in the current set of workplace.